I used to think discipline was for other people. You know, retired Navy SEALs, elite athletes, or those CEOs who somehow spring out of bed at 4 a.m. like it's nothing. My story was different. I'd get a huge rush of motivation, set some crazy goal like, I'm going to write a book, or this is the year I finally get in shape. And for about 2, maybe 3 days, I was a machine. Then crickets. The motivation would just pack its bags and leave, and all I had to show for it was the ghost of a good idea, a faint outline of the person I could have been if I'd just stuck with it. That cycle didn't just leave me at square one, it did something worse. It taught me that I couldn't trust myself. Every promise I broke, every goal I ditched, was a little whisper to my own brain that my word didn't mean anything. My own ambition started to feel like a joke, and I was the punchline. So I decided to run a 30-day experiment with a single, deceptively simple rule. And what I found is that real, lasting discipline has almost nothing to do with motivation, willpower, or being superhuman. It's built on something else entirely, something quieter and much more powerful. Let's rewind to day 0. My life wasn't falling apart, but it was stuck in a loop of inconsistency. My work life was a series of frantic sprints followed by frustrating slumps. One week I'd clear my entire to-do list feeling like a productivity god. The next 2, I'd be drowning in procrastination, just trying to get my head above water, staring at the same 3 emails for hours. My personal goals were even sadder. The graveyard of abandoned projects was getting pretty crowded. There was the half-learned programming language, left behind after a single frustrating bug. There was the gym membership that was basically just a monthly donation at that point. And then there was the guitar, collecting dust in the corner. I remembered the day I bought it. The vibrant image I had of myself effortlessly strumming songs. Now, it just sat there, a wooden monument to my own inconsistency. And every time I looked at it, it felt like a silent judgment. Every one of these failures was a symptom of the same disease. I was addicted to the feeling of motivation. When it showed up, I was a rock star. When it didn't, I was just a spectator in my own life, waiting for inspiration to grace me with its presence. And this creates a nasty catch. You only act when you feel good, but you only feel good consistently when you take action. I was trapped in the waiting room of my own potential. The worst part was the constant negotiation in my own head. My mind had become this courtroom where my ambitious self would propose a goal, and my lazy, comfort-seeking self, the world's most effective lawyer, would immediately start trying to cut a deal. Let's start tomorrow, when we have a fresh slate. You're tired. You earned a break. Think of it as self-care. Just 5 more minutes of scrolling, it'll help you relax before the hard work. And that lazy lawyer almost always won. This was exhausting. And it was wrecking the most important relationship I have, the one with myself. When you repeatedly tell yourself you're going to do something, and then you don't, you teach yourself not to believe your own commitments. You're effectively telling yourself over and over that you're a liar. I knew I needed to break the cycle, but another huge, ambitious goal was just going to be another tombstone in the project graveyard. The problem wasn't the size of my goals. It was the foundation they were built on. A foundation made of sand, so I went in the complete opposite direction. I wasn't going to build a castle overnight. I was going to lay one single brick perfectly. My commitment for 30 days was this. I will write for 5 minutes. Every single day. That's it. No word count, no chapter goal, not even a make it good rule. The only thing that mattered was opening a document and typing for 300 seconds. It was so small, so ridiculously easy that it almost felt silly. My brain, which was used to grand, complex plans, could barely register it as a challenge. There were no loopholes. Too tired for 5 minutes? Please. No time for 5 minutes? An obvious lie. The task was engineered to be so tiny that failing would take more mental energy than just doing it. This wasn't about achieving something. It was about becoming someone. Someone who actually keeps their promises. The first week was a breeze. 5 minutes felt easy, almost trivial. Most days, riding that initial wave of excitement, I'd write for 10, 15, sometimes 30 minutes. I felt good, but I knew this was the honeymoon phase. This was the same burst of energy that had started every failed project. The real test, as always, would come when that feeling disappeared, and it arrived right on schedule, around day 9. I'd had a long, soul-crushing day at work. My brain was fried, my eyes were burning, and all I wanted was to melt into the couch and watch something mindless. As I was about to do just that, a tiny little thought popped into my head. The 5 minutes. My immediate reaction was that all too familiar wall of internal resistance. Oh, come on, I thought. Not today. It's just 5 minutes. Skipping it won't matter. I'll just do 10 minutes tomorrow to make up for it. This was the moment of truth. This was the exact spot where every other habit had gone to die. The negotiation was on, but this time, the terms were different. I wasn't arguing about a brutal workout or writing 1,000 words. I was arguing about 5 minutes. The sheer absurdity of it just stopped me in my tracks, debating with myself over whether I could handle 300 seconds of typing was frankly embarrassing. It was like my lazy lawyer finally had a case so flimsy he was ashamed to even present it. So, with a heavy sigh, I sat down, opened my laptop, and hit start on a timer. It was probably the worst, most pathetic writing I've ever produced. Just a jumbled mess of me complaining about how tired I was. But that wasn't the point. When the timer went off, I closed the laptop. I did it. And in that moment, something just clicked. It wasn't a rush of motivation. It wasn't a big, flashy feeling of accomplishment. It was a quiet, solid feeling of integrity. I told myself I would do something, and I did it, even when I really didn't want to. This led me to my first big realization. The point of the task isn't the task itself. The point is to keep the promise you made to yourself. Those 5 minutes of writing were never really about the writing. They were a vehicle for practicing the skill of honoring my own word. As I see it, every time you keep a promise to yourself, no matter how small, you're casting a vote for a new identity. You're gathering evidence that you're the type of person who follows through. On the flip side, every time you break a promise, you're casting a vote for the identity of someone who's unreliable, flaky, and can't be trusted. Discipline, I realized, isn't about being harsh or restrictive. For me, it's just self-trust in action. When you trust yourself, the internal debates start to fade away. You no longer have to argue about whether you're going to do what you said you would. The decision is already made. That tiny act on day 9, writing for 5 miserable minutes, was worth more than all the inspired 30-minute sessions combined. It was the moment I chose integrity over comfort, and it was the first real brick in the wall. As I rolled into the 2nd and 3rd weeks, something interesting started to happen. That 5-minute task began to feel automatic. It was becoming part of my daily rhythm, like brushing my teeth. I had set up a specific cue for it. The rule was, right after I sit down on the couch after dinner, I will open my laptop and write for 5 minutes. This is a classic implementation intention. A simple planning technique that research shows makes you significantly more likely to follow through with a goal. Instead of relying on memory or motivation, I had outsourced the trigger to a habit I already had. One evening, around day 18, I sat down after dinner, and my hands instinctively reached for my laptop before I even consciously thought about it. The resistance wasn't just low. it was gone. The path of least resistance had actually shifted. At that point, it felt weirder to not do the 5 minutes than to do it. This brought me to my second revelation. True discipline isn't about having more willpower. It's about building a better system. Highly disciplined people aren't heroes with a bottomless well of motivation. They're architects. They design their lives and routines to make their desired actions the easiest possible option. A bad architect designs a beautiful house with no thought to the environment. The doors are hard to open, the hallways are cramped, the light switches are in the wrong place. That's what I had been doing with my goals. A good architect designs for flow, making the path of least resistance lead exactly where you want to go. It wasn't like I had magically gained more willpower. I had just built a system so effective that willpower was no longer the main ingredient for this one task. The system was doing the heavy lifting. This system had a few key parts. First, the ridiculously small start. A task so easy you can't talk yourself out of it sidesteps your brain's natural fear of change. Second, the cue-based trigger, that if-then plan, which puts the habit on autopilot. And third, raw consistency. By showing up every day, I was carving out a new neural pathway, making the action more and more automatic. I started to see my other failures not as character flaws, but as system failures. I wasn't going to the gym because the system was broken. The friction was too high. Finding my workout clothes, packing a bag, the 15-minute drive, each step was a small hurdle that drained my limited willpower. I wasn't reading books because the system was stacked against it. My phone was always in my hand, a universe of infinite, easy dopamine, while the book was on a shelf across the room. The path of least resistance led to endless scrolling. The solution wasn't to try harder. It was to be a smarter architect. To make the gym easier, I could lay out my clothes the night before. To read more, I could leave a book on my pillow, making it the first thing I see. This was a total paradigm shift. I stopped blaming myself for being inconsistent and started looking at my systems. Motivation is an emotion, a flash in the pan. A system is a structure. It works whether you're feeling it or not. This 30-day experiment wasn't just about writing. It was my first successful attempt at building a system that actually worked. And once you learn how to build one system, you can build one for anything. By the final week, the 5-minute rule was second nature, but the effects were starting to ripple out into other parts of my life. Because I was keeping this one tiny promise every day, I started to feel more capable in general. That self-trust was spilling over. Around day 25, I was faced with a huge work project I normally would have put off for days. But my thinking was different. My old internal monologue would have been, "This is massive. I don't know where to start. I'll feel more like it tomorrow." That voice was gone. Instead, there was this quiet confidence. I'm the guy who shows up every day, I thought. Let's just start. What's the 5-minute version of this? And I did. I broke the project down into its own tiny 5-minute starting task, just like my writing habit. The momentum from that small win carried me forward. This ripple effect was the most surprising and powerful outcome of the whole thing. Keeping one small promise was starting to change how I saw myself. This led me to my final revelation. The ultimate goal of discipline isn't to do things, but to become someone. Trying to change your habits by focusing only on actions is the slow road. The deepest, most lasting change happens when you shift your identity. I wasn't just doing 5 minutes of writing. I was becoming a writer. I wasn't just keeping a promise. I was becoming a person who honors their word. Now, this experiment wasn't about the 30 days. It was about using that short, manageable time to install the beginnings of a new identity. That whole "it takes 21 days to form a habit" thing is mostly a myth, by the way, based on a misinterpretation from the 1960s. Real scientific studies show that the time it takes for a new behavior to become automatic is, on average, closer to 66 days. And even that is just an average. The actual time can be anywhere from 18 to over 250 days, depending on the person and the habit. That 21-day myth can actually be harmful. When people hit day 22, and the new habit still feels like work, they think they've failed, when in reality, they're probably right on track. A 30-day challenge isn't the finish line. It's the launch pad. It's boot camp for your new identity. It's the time when you are manually and intentionally casting votes for who you want to be. You're using small, consistent actions as evidence to prove to yourself that you are this new person. Once your brain starts to buy into this new identity, I am a disciplined person, I am a healthy person, it starts to act in alignment with it automatically. Your behaviors start to catch up with the person you believe you are. The small daily win is the proof. It's the receipt you show your brain. That's why consistency beats intensity every single time. An hour-long workout once a week doesn't really change your identity. A 5-minute walk every single day, that tells a much more powerful story. It's like the difference between a flash flood and a river. The flood is dramatic, but it's the steady, daily flow of the river that carves a canyon. So what happened after day 30? On day 31, I sat down after dinner and wrote for 5 minutes. And again on day 32. The experiment was over, but the system was here to stay. That 5-minute writing habit is now a simple, almost thoughtless part of my day. Most of the time, it stretches into 20 or 30 minutes, but the minimum standard is never broken. That tiny habit has stacked up into hours and hours of writing that simply wouldn't exist otherwise. But the real transformation isn't the word count. It's the ripple effect into every other part of my life. The self-trust I built is now a resource I can use for any challenge. When I'm faced with something tough, that negotiating voice is way quieter now. It's been replaced by a calmer, more confident one that says, "We know how to do this. Start small, just keep the promise." I've since applied this system everywhere. To get healthier, I didn't commit to some insane fitness plan. I committed to doing 5 push-ups every day. That's it. It's been months, and I haven't missed a day. Most days I do more, but the promise is always kept. The unbreakable discipline I'm talking about isn't about being a perfect robot. It's about having a system so solid that it doesn't shatter on a bad day. It's about knowing that if you get sick or have a genuinely impossible day and you miss, you don't beat yourself up. You don't say, "Well, the streak is broken, might as well quit." That's the old thinking. The new thinking is, the system accounts for imperfection. You just get right back to it the next day. It's about progress, not perfection. The goal is not an unbroken chain. It's an unbreakable commitment to return to the practice. The core lesson for me was this. Real discipline isn't about gritting your teeth and forcing yourself through misery. It's about building a system that makes success almost inevitable. It's a skill, not a personality trait, and that skill is built on 3 simple pillars. 1. Start ridiculously small. Pick something so easy you can't say no. The goal is consistency, not a huge initial result. 2. Build a system, not just a goal. Link your tiny task to a routine you already have with an if-then plan. Be an architect of your environment. Make your good habits easier to do and your bad habits harder. 3. Focus on your identity. Use every tiny victory as a vote for the person you want to become. The action is just the evidence. The identity change is the real reward. For years, I thought building discipline was like trying to hold water in my hands. The harder I squeezed, the faster it slipped away. I was wrong. Discipline isn't water, it's a wall. And you don't build a wall by trying to lift the whole thing at once. You build it by laying one small, perfectly placed brick every single day. Some days you're energized and you lay 10 bricks. Some days you're exhausted and you can only manage to lay one. But you always lay the brick. Over time, those bricks compound into something strong, stable, and unbreakable. You don't need to be a hero. You don't need to be superhuman. You just need a better system. Start with one brick. Start with one tiny, non-negotiable promise to yourself, and keep it. That's where true discipline is born. If any of this clicked with you, subscribe for more on building systems for a better life. And now I have a question, and I really want to hear your answers in the comments. What's the one tiny task you could commit to for the next 30 days? What's your first brick? Let me know below.